Throughout history, when you take a look at revolutions, there's a vast chance that sometimes the system that the rebels overthrew is sometimes replaced by a totalitarian regime which is far worse than the regime they overthrew. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pose the scenario of, in somehow, some way, it doesn't matter how, Alex Jones becomes president, or someone similar like him becomes president. And whenever people like that have got into power, they've taken what they've been saying, but they've taken it to the next level because they've had the power to do it, and more often than not, there's been no one there to stop them because they rose into power through popular support. There's a lot of support behind them, and people won't care, basically. So, Jones is now in power. What does he do? Well, the first thing is when Jones calls people elitists or the elite. Who do you label the elite? That's the question. Because that then becomes the word for the enemy. The elite are out to get us. Are you an elite? Did you vote this way in the last election? Did you support these people in the last regime? Well, then you must be elite. You must be got rid of. And Jones has been he's very brazen when he says, well, we need to get rid of these people. Again, he doesn't say how, but again, give him the power to do so. Ultimately, it would be probably a very bloody execution. It wouldn't be straight into jail. The next problem is Jones has a huge problem with people who are educated, people who are doctors, not doctors, basically anyone who's educated who has a degree. He always seems to have a problem with them. Only if they don't side with him, and there are a lot more educated people that don't side with him. For example, again, I'll cite the Noam Chomsky incident. Pretty much any form of higher education, he'd bring in censorship. It wouldn't be turned into a free-thinking institutions that universities are. They'd be more very, you must think this way. You're not allowed outside the box. This is how you are told to think. In fact, that would pretty much filter down through all of education. It would become a politicizing thing. You will support the regime. This is what you are told. This is what you must believe. In forms of education. Freedom of speech. You're allowed to have freedom of speech as long as you're supporting Jones and what he says. If you're not, well, then you're an elitist and you must be gotten rid of. That's pretty much the easiest thing. Guns. Oh yeah, everyone's allowed to have a gun, unless you're on this list. That's, I suspect, what Jones would do to stop certain people getting guns. Jones would probably instate Christianity as the religion, because he never comes across as a fundamentalist, but at times he has done. So I suspect that he probably would do that, and with all the fundamentality that would bring. So there'd be no abortions, there'd be no equality, gay rights, anything like that. That would be out the door. He'd probably bring in laws against gay people. Like I say, in the past, he said some pretty bad stuff about any people who have been, gay, that they're a plague on humanity. So that's definitely one thing that would happen. I'm trying to think now. Economy-wise, Jones would probably take the libertarian path and just let companies, businesses, and whatever run wild. There'd be no regulations, there'd be no environmental protection all of that would be gone. So pretty much corporations would have the run of it, basically. Would they ever get punished by the government? No, because again, they're not regulated anyway, so they'd just buy politicians and they'd pay off anyone. It'd be that pretty much that simple. And that, to be honest, is what I'd think that would happen if Jones got into power. Again, it's not going to happen, but again, that's the likely situation. And again, as I've said, I'm taking it from a historical point of view of where people and dictators or anyone like that has gotten into power. They've taken what they've said to the next level because they've had the power to be able to do it, and they've had the popular support to be able to do it. So Jones in America will become incredibly frightening for someone that, if you didn't support him, you'd pretty much be dead. If you spoke out against him, no. Yeah, newspapers. That's what I was going to mention. Jones would probably bring back censors into all newspapers. Any form of information would be, doctored to spin the party's good on, it's not his fault, it's the elite's fault, type of thing. So, again, why do people, it's probably one of the most scariest things that you think about, possibly what Jones could do. Again, if he ever got into power, I doubt he will never ever get into power. And again, it's just pretty much a hypothetical scenario of what if, essentially. But then that's potentially what could happen if he did. So, there you go.